Authors and hospitality? I was asked this question by one of my colleagues. Authors do a lot of behind the scene jobs for the hospitality industry. May that be brochure writing, content writing, or any internal or external communication. Join us to unveil the storytelling by one of the top industry writer, Heena Shrivastava. I was introduced to Heena Shrivastava during the anthology coaching session at Atmosphere Core. She has authored 4 books and she's a journalist, a certified storyteller. She's also a book writing coach at Atmosphere Core and she's a master NLP practitioner. Welcome to our podcast, Write, Lead, Write. Heena Shrivastava, please introduce yourself to us.
Wow, such a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. And I'm honored to be honored to being here. And I'm Heena M. Shrivastava. I'm author of 4 books. I'm founder of Writer Nama, which is an online writing academy. I am an international book coach, and a few world book record holders have written books under me, and that's how it started. And the journey has been really beautiful because I personally believe that you don't write the books write you. And looking at my academics, it's like a potpourri of experiences. So, hailing from arts, loving English literature, to moving to uh, management studies, dropping that just because taxation was not my cup of tea, and then moving towards aviation because I was very fascinated by traveling, and then again dropping it because I never found it a calling in that. And then finally getting into mass communication, where I thought of being on the TV, and then my dad said that, let's give it a shot to writing. And that's how, like, all these experiences made me what I am today. So, and finally getting into Times of India and Hindustan Times as a freelance journalist. And so still none of that clicked me the way creative writing has, and that was my calling, and I'm so super thankful that my passion and profession are the same thing.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Hina, for giving us the insights about your career journey. And it looks like you have immense experience in writing. What inspires you to write?
uh, the very first inspiration would definitely be my dad, because my dad made books my siblings. I don't have human siblings, so he used to fill that void with lots of books. So that was my kind of candies. Instead of candies, the books were replaced. Instead of siblings, the books were replaced. So books became my siblings, and since then, it is like I personally believe that you're the sum of 5 people you live around with, and similarly your writing also is a sum of whatever you're reading, and that kind of creates a lava before the volcano erupts. So that's what really happened. I kept collecting the lava, and then finally it came out in form of writing. So the very first inspiration was that was very subtle one. I was never aware that I'm getting inspired by reading a lot of books, but it definitely started from there. Taking it ahead, as I moved forward, I saw that my dad wanted me to be into mass communication, but not into the glamorous part of that, but into the intellectual part of that. So he was like that, leave the glamour of the screen that may or might not fit your 24/7 regime, and let's give it a shot to the deeper part. And why don't you write? And so I tried it, and I applied to Times of India. I got through, and that's when the stepping stones of belief started getting forming up. So yeah, post that, every single write up, every single page, every single book, every single coaching these days has been a very important stepping stone, and to create that milestone of a huge belief that yes, I can do it and I can make people do it.
Amazing. What type of writing do you like mostly? Is that fiction, or would you like to write about crime, or anything that you can say?
So in terms of reading, Algira, I am more into. I was a hardcore fiction fan. I was, in fact, 2 years back, I hadn't read even a single nonfiction. Maybe one, two on how to study better and all that, but apart from that, there was nothing. Uh, there was this shift which happened because I when I became a book coach, there were two identities going together. So I was like a pendulum swinging between being an author and also being a book coach. And that's where it was like, I have to inculcate something which, as a book coach, as an entrepreneur, as a coach who is providing those services, needs to be refined. And that's where I started picking up non-fiction books. And the moment I started picking up non-fiction books, there was no looking back. I always was like, I'm so inclined. I'm now struggling to get back to fiction. And so it has just tables have turned this way, and I'm totally loving the journey. I'm sure that whenever I want to, I will be surely getting back to fiction. But all these years versus these 2 years have been a very beautiful journey.
Mm-hmm. Where do you get the inspiration for your characters when you write? Like, may that be non-fiction or fiction? Who inspires? What type of characters inspire you the most?
So in general, it's a very simplistic answer that I get inspired from anybody. Like if I'm closely observing somebody, that person becomes my interest part, and that's where I start delving deeper by observing more strategically, and then the inspiration comes up. Uh, it In fact, I would say that when I read books, the inspiration of how to make your character stronger comes, but not the character. I am never inspired by the character, apart from sometimes I like Harry Potter. That's my favorite one, so that's there. Uh, Apart from that, never ever I have got enticed with characters in fictions or maybe in movies. It's more of like people in general, people in real life, which really intrigue me, and that's what I love to write about.
Are there categories of writing? Like, I know there is poetry writing, there is short story writing. What are other types which I'm not aware of?
So poetry is one. Essays are another. Blogging essays, and then comes the broader categories are two, like fiction and non-fiction. Then further, they can be subdivided into fiction can be short stories, fiction can be your romantic fiction, fiction can be a thriller fiction, fiction can be a horror fiction, fiction can be suspense as well. And on the other hand, non-fiction can be self-help book, can be an autobiography, can be a biography, can be a how-to kind of book, can be a workbook, can be a journal, and so there's no end to that. And with time, the kind of evolvement the industry has got in terms of writing, publishing, it has just I would say a metamorphosis which has really happened, and it's really benefiting all the people, because now writers are not there, they're amongst us, and that's what creates the difference. That's what I guess inculcates clearer thinking in people, more ambitions in people. And I would love it when people say that I want to write a book without thinking whether they can write or not.
I really like the way when you said writers are among us. So, do you think I can write a book?
Definitely. So I say that if writing is a tree, the seed is always in the belief. So if your belief
Wow.
is there, you nurture it well. And so nurturing is for the book coaches do that. So all the coaches, writing coaches do the nurturing part, and the tree then becomes sturdier.
Amazing, amazing. So can we write an autobiography in a sequel, like childhood ones, and then teenage, and then the old age? So can we write something like that, autobiography, in different parts?
Yeah, Alzira. You can write. In fact, there is no chronology as well. If you really want to write, we can chuck the chronology completely, and you can start from maybe any phase of your life. And it is not just the age-wise phase which we can think about or write about. It can also be about some professions. Suppose I have switched multiple streams in studies, and I might want to write about just aviation part first, and then coming up with mass communication, followed by something else, so on and so forth. So that would be my career series. So depends on what part you want to highlight. Somebody has gone through, God forbid, maybe gone through some medical conditions which they want to talk about. So that can also come in series. If there are two medical conditions, they can talk about that and enlighten people. So definitely, autobiography can have as many versions and as many editions as you want, without thinking about chronology.
Interesting. Now coming to a different section of our conversation today,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to highlight how learning how to write can inspire us in the hospitality industry.
Interesting question indeed. So, hospitality, as we say, that the first and foremost prerequisite is connection, human connection, emotional connection, and that's where writing can do wonders. uh, the very first part which you can do is to plan your what you're going to speak. Plan as in not writing it completely, but just thinking about it. Maybe generally when you're saying welcome, what is that one line which you can add along with that, which would be creating an emotional connect? Maybe just by looking at your guest and noticing something and complimenting that, or uh, giving some compliments. So that would be one part. Another part would be using some metaphors out there. You're beautiful like rose. So inculcating that, connecting that creativity in maybe welcome messages, maybe mails, uh, in maybe when you're planning some birthdays or any special plans, uh, anything which is related to either speaking can be planned out through writing. Anything which is related to writing can be garnished well with writing, with creative writing. So I guess it has a lot of scope when it comes to not just hospitality industry, but also other industries, because the writing is it's just like a very healthy soup for your meal. Whatever connection you are serving over there, it would always work like a very healthy soup.
I'm sure this has answered a lot of people's question. And I would like to move ahead and ask you few key aspects that writer should have before thinking of writing any book or
Mhm.
autobiography.
Can you come up again with the question?
Yes, I'll repeat. Can you suggest some few qualities or things to keep in mind while
Mm.
writing an autobiography?
So when you're writing an autobiography, the very very there are only, I guess, according to me, there are only two prerequisites, or I would say skills if you can hone them, and they're very much honeable is what I say. The word is wrong maybe, but you can very well inculcate those skills. The very first one is having the firm belief in yourself. The power of belief is something which will get you going even when nothing else is getting you going, even when everything is stopping you. So that belief is the very first prerequisite, or it's a skill which you can gradually imbibe and inculcate in you. The second one is, when you're writing your autobiography, is that you have to live consciously. By saying that, what I mean is that when you're living, being aware of your action, being aware about the alignment between your thoughts, action, and again your values and beliefs, are they getting aligned or not? Because most of the stress which I feel comes from the place when we are responsible for that, or if it is our mistake. So first of all, we deny uh, that we did something wrong. That's where the misalignment comes into the scene, and that's what disturbs us. So that alignment and that consciousness about the alignment, there are mistakes which will happen. You cannot be perfect, but you can be observant for sure. And that observation, that awareness would work like magic. The more you are living consciously, the more you're noticing your patterns, the more you are uh, finding a repetition in your patterns, habits, unhelpful habits, and the more you will be uh, able to document it really well. And that's where that all documentation with all conscious living will be making your autobiography really powerful.
Amazing. Now I think I have more clarity to write my own book.
Lovely. My wishes for
Are
that.
there any modern Thank you so much. Are there any challenges in the modern world for authors?
So every era comes with its own challenges, and and
Yeah.
without challenges the game is not interesting at all. uh, when it comes to the digital part, the biggest challenge here is to find, or maybe learn, or to inculcate quality writing. People here, authors are mushrooming like anything, and but there's a difference between best selling author versus a best author. And that's where it's a very thick line which needs to be understood, because everybody is running in the rat race of best-selling author. In fact, I attended one of the workshops from Chetan Bhagat, who is a renowned author, and he himself said that he might be a best-selling author, but to reach to the place of being the best author, it's a real long journey to go. So I personally feel that this side of being the best author should be focused more. Best selling will follow by itself if you're focusing on becoming the best author. So that's what I think is should be taken care of. And the more you are into quality writing, the more you will see that you are getting rewritten every time as a person as well, as a clear thinker as well, as a lateral thinker as well. So it's not just about writing, it is more about growing holistically in every direction, especially with the clarity of thoughts which you will get as a return gift from quality writing. That's class apart.
Nice, nice. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying this.
My pleasure.
I was reading in one of the articles somewhere, and it was written that AI is taking a lot of writing work. So how far do you agree with this sentence?
AI is so when AI came initially, especially ChatGPT, I had my own maybe inhibitions, and I'm still yet to give it a label what that was. And so whoever used to come to me and used to test me that I've written this story, read it out. So the moment I used to say it's nice, they used to say that see, it is written from ChatGPT and you couldn't detect it. And that's where I said it's nice, but what needs to be done is another thing. So first thing I'm saying nice, but after that there are a lot many improvements which can happen. So the human factor will never be cannot be replaced. First of all, gradually I learned with time that ChatGPT can be. I'm now using ChatGPT, but to just take pointers, just to get some ideas, and this is what an intern also does for you. So I'm treating it like as an intern, and then even if I'm getting a write up out of it, I definitely make sure that I put my essence to that by my writing voice. So I use it in a better way. Definitely, writers cannot be replaced because the word power along with the emotional connect, which maybe Chat GPT, as Ankur Wariku says, that people will not be replaced by the Chat GPT, but people will be replaced by the people who know how to use Chat GPT. So I still say that regardless of even the right kind of prompts to use Chat GPT, there will be always a thin line between human writing and AI writing.
Right. I totally agree with you that emotional touch of a human being in the writing cannot be replaced by the Chat GPT. Moving forward, I would like to know, do you have some key points for our aspiring writers? What suggestions would you like to give for them?
So I would just give them one suggestion that please do mistakes, but write. Okay, that's what many of us don't do. That if I write, what will people think? If I write, it will go out in public. If I write, I will have to share. If I write, my grammar may not be at right places. But you start as a toddler, and you cannot directly run. So the journey between the toddlership to the running part, if you have to win a marathon, you have to start from being a toddler and then walking with a support, and then walking by yourself, and then jumping, and then gradually running, and then sprints, and then marathon. So if you're not starting, how would you reach there? So I personally believe on action on paper rather than perfection on paper. So that's what I would say, that just write it.
Perfect, perfect. And to sum up with our today's conversation, is there any takeaway you would like to give to our audience?
Hone your beliefs. No matter what the world is saying to you. In fact, I don't believe in that world will say bad things to you or discouraging things to you. But if you are believing in yourself, writing a book or writing, even if it is not writing, that's okay. But nothing is tough when you have the belief, which comes easy to you. So that's what I would say, that because my journey of 10 to 12 years of creative writing, almost 5 years went in inculcating that identity as an author. I was surrounded with all non-writers, my family, and obviously writer doesn't go to office every day. And that's where the
Mhm.
identity shaping up in the environment is becomes a bit tricky till the time you uh, climb up the ladder of being a bit famous or climb up the ladder of being a coach. When I wasn't a coach, when I wasn't into the industry like I am today, I had struggled a lot in terms of understanding that I'm an author. Despite having quality writing, that belief wasn't there. So that's the seed, as I said, of a sturdy tree called writing.
Wow. I'm sure a lot of our fellow viewers have taken a lot of insights from your conversation today. And there will be many more such episodes. We will invite you again and again for your experiences to be shared on our episode. For today, we would like to wrap up over here. And thank you so much, Hina, for being on our podcast, Write, Lead, Right.
Wow. Thank you so much, Alzira, for having me here. And this let this era in making grow leaps and bounds.
Thank you. Thank you. Certainly. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Yeah.